Praise God, praise God, praise God. All right, so thank you guys for being here tonight for our first episode of Real Life with Duke White. This is a show where we are celebrating Christian culture and honestly explaining Christian culture. We want to deal with some of the divisive topics that are dividing the body of Christ, but also a lot of misinformation about what's going on in the world today, you know, about Christianity. We want to show people that we are more than just going to church, that we are effective in everyday life. We are from serving, food to, single mothers overcoming things. There are people, you need people of God praying. You need the people of God being who they are. Because if it wasn't for God, there would be people like me out on the streets. And without God, we don't want to see where that goes. But because of God, we can practice restraint. Because of God, He gets to us in our broken places. And so we want to celebrate the things that God is doing in our lives, that God does on a day-to-day basis. And we also want to show that we're not a bunch of kooks. That's a big thing, because people think, how can you believe in this God? Why not? I think they call it the spaghetti monster or something. Why not believe in the spaghetti monster? So the idea is to show people in reality. That's why it's called Real Life with Duke White, because we want to show people what God is doing in reality. That this is not a figment of our imagination, and most importantly, that we are not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so, certain topics, one of the things the way I'm designing the show is to honestly deal with where the influences are, what the influences. So we're trying to deal with the different influences. But before we get into the show, I want to say a special thanks to certain people who helped out. We had a kiosk, we had a store in the mall, in Greenbrier Mall in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and there were a lot of people that helped out there. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank Janet Garcia, Howard Martell, Stephen, I always say your name, Stephen eBay. Stephen eBay. I always want to say IBEA because it's IBEH, and I want to say IBEA so bad, but it's eBay. And then the worst part about it is when I say it right, then it comes to me like, oh yeah, you can clearly see that, And then of course Bonnie, Bonnie Howard's wife. She's like, you better say me, But I want to get the show started because we got some very serious things to talk about. One of the things that we're going to talk about today is the music industry, but not in the secular sense. We have two topics for each show. There's an entertainment, kind of like a social topic, and then there's what we call the hard topic. And so this social topic that we're talking about is just entertainment, music, the music industry, but not from the secular side. Like I said, we're talking about celebrating Christian culture. We want to get on the inside of the music industry. So we have international guests, international recording artist, Earl Bynum here with us. Give it up for Earl Bynum. He's here with us. Thank you so much for being here. So this brother is an amazing man of God. He's done things that he's set the path for a lot of people. And so one of the issues that we've got to learn how to do, one of the things that I found is a big mistake is sometimes we'll want people to come who we love to worship. We want them to come and worship with us, but we don't get to learn about them. And so this is, I wanted to take an opportunity, instead of saying, hey, can you come up here and sing and worship with them? Like, hey, man, it's time for people to know who you are. And he actually decided I'll come. He actually has his son and his grandson with him. So you guys come on up. Let's do this thing. Let's get this show started. So this is going to be an amazing show. He also has a new album coming out. Or it's already out. It's already out. All right, so let's get this thing started. One of the things that we're going to do when we talk about this, we're giving the viewers, you out there in TV land, we want to give you, if you are a gospel artist, we want to give you some insight on what to do, the do's and don'ts. But first, we're going to get to know Earl Bynum. All right, what's going on, man?
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, brother, for being here. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering about the stick, it's none of your business. All right, so there's that. So let's start with this new album.
Yes.
When you're writing your music, right? Where are you really writing from? Are you writing from a biblical perspective or your personal journey? Where is it coming from?
Sometimes it's both. It just depends on the moment and the season I'm in. What's going on.
I'm trying to figure out why he doesn't have a microphone. Hold on one second. I didn't get him his mic. No. Oh no, this show is going to be exactly like the radio show, just as tacky as it can be. No, this is how we do it. This is real life. So my fault on forgetting you guys. You guys good? All right, so yeah, it is real life. So I was asking you about the where you're writing from. Where is that coming from?
Well, it just depends on the moment where I am at the time. It can be biblical, and it could be real life. It just depends on the moment and the season I'm in.
Now, I'm trying to slow down because I know that you've accomplished so much. Like, by the way, this is the 50th year for the Dove Awards. And Earl Bynum is the first gospel artist from Virginia to be nominated. And you see why I'm talking about we need to celebrate each other? We need to celebrate because, if we don't, we have these jewels that God has blessed us with. This is an amazing accomplishment. And you are one of these artists that challenge people to, I saw one of your music videos and I thought, wow, like you're a great storyteller in your music. Where do you get that from? Is it from seeing what people are going through and then you kind of absorb it and try to see things from their perspective?
Sometimes it is. There's a song called Open My Heart that I did, and that was written based on people, family, life, and it tells a story in itself.
Well, I want to ask you this because for people who are trying, they feel like they have a good voice, but they're struggling with the writing process. What could you say to them? Because I know you have your own record label, and I know you offer that wisdom that you have. And what's the name of your record label?
El Rey Entertainment.
El Rey Entertainment. All right, guys, if you are a gospel artist, El Rey Entertainment, make sure you get that.
Which is Earl spelled backwards.
That's smart. I saw that. I knew that. I totally saw that. Not at all. But so you decided you wanted to open the doors for other people.
Yes.
What made you not just be focused on your own success?
Well, the music industry has shifted so much. And being in the music industry and being in it for so long, understanding the process, and you can't trust everybody. And a lot of times you have people with good hearts, but they get taken advantage of. Because a lot of times we focus on the stage presence and performance, but not the ministry of the heart.
Are we talking about the gospel industry?
Yes, of course.
People being taken advantage of in the gospel industry.
Always.
Where there is money, you know what I mean? I get it.
Always.
So in this process, you're not just talking to artists about their music, you're also trying to guide them through the industry.
Yeah, because really it's about lifestyle as well. So even with my son, he wanted to be an artist. So I said, okay, we're going to start a label and we're going to make this happen. And so he's my first artist.
Yeah.
Of course, to the label. And
Right.
I'm excited about him and his journey and what he's doing.
Yeah, so how do you feel about that? 'Cause first of all, these are some big shoes to fill. You know what I mean? But how do you feel about being an artist on your father's label? And is it hard to listen to his wisdom, or does he still just get the belt out? I don't care if you're grown.
All the above.
Like I used to beat you, now I won't pay you.
I mean, it's a great experience, but also it's, there's creative differences and whatnot.
That's a good way to put it.
I'm still developing who I am, and even though he is my father, I still have my ideas and my thoughts and dreams of what I want to be and how I want to get there. So we have to compromise. So there's times where there's tension and different things, and we bring those issues to the table, we talk about them, and then we move forward. But I mean, it's great though.
Is that what we're calling it? Talking, we talk about them. Well, I said no. That's what we're gonna call it talking. No, but I get that. I get it. Because when you're in that creative self, it's like I totally get it. I've watched a lot of movies about that. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you, and maybe both of you guys can answer this, is that obviously through time. I mean, I think you have you've been doing this for 20 years, man, and you've seen music change. How important is it to, I don't want to say keep up, but do you have to evolve with the music? Because I know, well, listen, guys, whatever genre you're in, if you're whatever genre, oh, they're saying hold up the mic too. Okay. But whatever genre you're in, okay, be proud of that genre. However, there's a reality that if you want albums to sell, you have to have a certain amount of relevancy. And I told you on the phone that I was going to ask you about that because I hear some of the criticism that gospel artists get from Christians. And one of those is like, oh, it shouldn't be a business. It shouldn't be this. You shouldn't use tactics. Yeah, go ahead, dude. Go for it. He was like, me.
As far as people saying that, I really feel like the people that say that are the people that are not in it, the people that don't have to, maneuver and sing and whatnot and minister. So to them, it's just, oh, well, you should do this free of heart and blah, 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 blah. And that is the truth. We do give God reverence and we sing to him and, we give him our hearts. But also, it's a ministry and he allows us to have that gift in order for us to bring income into our homes, to be able to take care of ourselves. It's not about, just singing, trying to get money and different things like that. That's not what ministry is about. But if you are doing ministry for the Lord, I feel like he will provide and he's giving you a gift to where you can sing and minister to the people that God has put before you and talk about your life as a testimony and the things that you've gone through and the things that you deal with in earnest truth. And he will allow men to give into you, to sow into you as far as income, different things like that. As far as evolving, I don't know if you guys pay attention to any R&B. I do. And so one of the R&B artists that I've watched over the years, her name is Mary J. Blige, and she evolves, I would say, like every 7 years, she switches it up. And I really believe that has led to the longevity of her career because she continues to grab new fans every time she evolves, but yet keeps her old fans. And so that's what I see my dad doing. If you look at the hair,
he doesn't really like it. It's a disguise to fit it.
When he first did it, I was just like, what is going on? But my thing is, I've watched him, over time just continue to evolve. And to the point where, for a very long time, I would just say, oh, that's my brother. Because I got tired of trying to say, oh, well, that's my dad, and oh, can we see your license and different, it just got to be.
Can we see your license?
It just got to be to a point where, people don't believe his age and different things, but him evolving, he still has held on to his roots, but yet he's still grabbing the young folks as well.
So let's talk about this a little bit. Where do you come from musically? Who were some of your influences?
Well, my mom and dad, first of all. My mom sang, my dad sang, and both of them early in life were a part of groups, and they traveled across the country. So I traveled with my mom some weekends, my dad some weekends, and it just depends. So that started it all. And then watching those in gospel music and Christian music from the likes of the Amy Grants to the James Cleavers. It was like, wow, So, and I had the opportunity to get both sides.
Yeah.
Gospel and Christian. So that was really the key for me. And then the Hawkins, with Edwin Hawkins with Oh Happy Day.
Yeah.
And, the late Thomas Whitfield, some may not know him, but such a great writer. So that was my influence.
Yeah. Do you believe that in this particular generation that we kind of just go forward and not look back? Because I sometimes I can't believe that I'm in a place where like I'm old enough to say, in my day, what I mean, I never thought that was coming, but I remember there in my day, in my younger years, I remember listening to the music of my parents and appreciating where they came from. And it seems like in this generation, it's kind of like, let's just focus on where we're going. How important do you think it is for the next generation to appreciate the foundation and music where we come from?
I think it's very important. The reality is that it doesn't happen as often or as much as it should. The millennials, and I didn't want to say that. Can be considered a millennial, I'm right there on the line or whatnot. They have a different mindset. And so, it's kind of disappointing because it's all about, what's now. And the thing is, you didn't get to where you were you know, just by now, there's people that have paved the way, whether it be music, civil rights, whatever it may be, for you to be able to do the things and have the freedoms and the liberties that you have. And so I see a lot of millennials that don't tend to reach back. I happen to have, or just to know what was back there, I happened to have a conversation with some coworkers, and they were a young set of coworkers, and so they were talking about singers, R&B singers. And so, you know, they were talking about R&B singers and rappers, and they were talking about who was famous to them and different things, and, you know, who was sold the most and blah, blah, blah. And so another coworker brought up Toni Braxton. And so one of the younger millennials was like, well, the only reason why we know her is because of Braxton Family Values, which is a TV show.
Well, yeah.
So it goes to show you the immaturity and the ignorance, whether it's, you know, conscious or unconscious, that, you know, certain people have, you know, to say that, I'm not trying to make this about Toni Braxton, but just this not know your history about who she is and what she's done, just different things like that. And we deal with a lot of that. Well, I deal with a lot of that.
Well, you know, you brought up the R&B community. Do you think, like, how do you feel about Christian musicians getting influences from the secular world, or is it just music is music?
I think.
Yes. Fight! This is good ratings. Let's go. No, I'm kidding.
I think music is music.
Yeah.
It depends on the type of music you listen to. But music influences people. So I think as a creative person, you ought to listen to everything and then hear the heart of God from what you've heard.
Right.
And then create something that is wonderful and lovely to his ears.
Yeah, you've actually influenced a lot of people in different ways that you don't even know. Actually, we have somebody here that wants to say something to you. They've been waiting a long time to say something to you about what you've done in their life for them. This is Pastor Moses David. And I wanted to bring him up first because he has influenced so many people. Go ahead, scoot down for a minute. And he actually wants to say something to you. So I thought this would be a great opportunity.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. I don't know if you remember, it was years ago. It was at Zion Baptist Church in Hampton, 1992. And you were directing Ebony Impact.
Yes. For those who don't know Ebony Impact, that's Old Dominion University's choir.
Yeah. And at this time, I believe I was like 16 or 17 years old, and somewhere around there. And
It was a long time ago.
yes, very long. But however, I remember showing up to that. That was actually my church, my parents' church.
Okay.
So I would attend there at this time in my life, you know, being made to attend. You know, back then, you didn't have a choice to go to church. If your parents was going, you was going too. Them days they've changed now, but I remember attending there regularly, and that night there was something that they were having for the youth. And my girlfriend at the time knew about this. I didn't even know that they were having it.
Wow.
So she told me, I think we should go. And I was like, all right, let's go check it out and see what they're doing. And I'll never forget that night. We were sitting in the back, and just being honest, we were back there fussing and arguing, mad, just being teenagers.
And church people. That's what we do.
In the back, just heated conversation to the point at times some of the elders was turning around, and I remember just being very, very angry. I was at a time in my life, man, where a lot was going on. Also, I was in a very popular group back when, you know, singing groups was in. Okay. So we was that dancing, singing guy group. And we were actually at the hands at that time of Teddy Riley. We just won his contest that he had at Virginia Beach while he was scouting. So we got to go in the studio, all these things, and was headed in that path to go secular music. And I remember that night when it was getting real heated and we were talking. I really wasn't paying any mind. I was like, man, I'm getting out of here. Let's go. Like this, I'm done. You know what I mean? That whole feel of, you know, what teenagers do. And man, you guys started singing. and y'all were singing this song called, it was toward the end of the service, and y'all were singing a song called Come Home.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that song? Yeah, I remember it vividly. Because I remember while you guys were singing, it started piercing my heart. But it was funny because I was getting even more angry. Because of what I was feeling, and I didn't want to feel that. I wanted to stay mad.
Right. I live there. I live that place all the time.
And the anger kept coming out and being released to the point, honestly, by the time her and I were going back and forth, all I know is I was walking down the aisle and my eyes was filled with so much tears that I could barely see. And there wasn't even an altar call given. I was just responding to the words of the song. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this, man, but I got down to the end and instantly my hands went up. I had never experienced this before in my life. I didn't even know anything about this. I didn't know this is what you do, anything. Neither, apparently, the church really didn't know anything about this either. Just to be honest with you. They didn't do this kind of worship, but y'all brought that worship in the house. And I remember my hands going up, and I started just praising, and instantly filled with the Holy Ghost, started speaking in tongues. I mean, I got the whole thing, like all in one moment, changed my life forever, man. I remember then the whole choir just went up. You had choir members hanging over the, I mean, it was just it was like a Tyler Perry. I hate to say it. That's just what it was like a Tyler Perry moment movie at the end. It was that.
Now, is that what you're aiming at, or do you because a lot of artists are trying to create that, but you really come from a place I've seen you really like it's almost like the audience vanishes and you really focus on God. Like you go in. What do you say to somebody who's just like saying, hey, I want to get in the gospel industry? Do you have to guide them and let them know, hey, this is still ministry. Business is the format, the vehicle that we use, but this is still ministry. Do you have to do that?
I mean, yeah. I actually have a conference for independent Christian artists. Next year will be 10 years. So I do it every July. And that focus is of that conference, their next step. We know you have the record. Now let's focus on us.
Yeah.
As we focus on the business. So when you step on the stage, the people will see the Jesus in you. It's very important. It's so important. I know the story. We traveled across country. This December we'll be doing our 22nd world tour in Europe.
Right.
So we go to Italy, and we were there about 3 years ago, and we're singing. And of course, the language barrier. But they loved gospel music, so we continued to sing the gospel music, Christian music. And this man came to the stage and he threw this paper on the stage, like a piece of paper. So we're still singing. So after the concert, we grabbed the paper and it said, how do I get to know you, Jesus? Those moments are
Come on.
Ooh.
Yeah.
God is faithful.
Yes.
God is faithful.
Yeah. So for you, you have more of you're definitely more from a gospel contemporary Christian side, for gospel music contemporary, and you have that dynamic. You're doing more of the R&B type of gospel. Is that correct?
I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. I'm doing that, but I'm also, I would say, I am a
conscious.
I am by gift, I'm an R&B singer that does gospel, that sings CCM.
Gotcha. No, I get it. I don't know why I get it, but I totally get it. No, because there's so many layers. And I hate the way sometimes the way my mind works, because I merge things that just confuse people when you try to explain them. But right now I'm thinking about my earth science class when it talks about elements, and I'm like, oh, that's that stuff, and then people are like, what? But no, I get it, because when you have that creative, this is what I do believe, is that it is like an avalanche where we influence one another as people. people. And as time goes, we're going to get more influence. And I think that music is something that's so pure. You know, I remember thinking to myself that, you know, black people listen to this music, white people listen to this music, you know, and then yeah, exactly, you find out, you know, you talk to a white person like, man, you don't know who James Brown is? Like, what? Like, you know, white people watch The Cosby Show. I did not know that. You know what I mean? It was, Crystal told me that. Crystal, you know, it was like, what? You know,
it's funny that you said that because, you know, you're talking about Caucasian people and you know what they like and different things. Like, I love country music. And so
exactly.
I love country music and I love opera.
Tell them who my favorite artist is.
Barbara Streisand. She don't have no Bette Midler. So like I love different music. I like music that edifies, that, you know, stimulates and encourages. I don't care what style it is, as long as it encourages me to, you know, feel something better or to you know, just be happy. Then
yeah, and it's such a shame to see people take something as beautiful and important to us as music and use it to create division. Like, that's such a shame because it's such a beautiful tool. And I'm also not just talking about racial, I'm also saying ageism too. Because we were having a conversation about how our parents like to say, your music's not real music. And then, you know, we listen to good love music. And then you go listen to some Marvin Gaye and find out, hey, yeah.
I say that to some of the coworkers now, you know, the young ones listen to. I'm like, I just don't understand. Like, it's not, to me, it's not music. They're not even singing. They're just talking, and it's just like a beat.
Hello, everybody, and you're watching Real Life with Duke White on ComingSoonJesus.org. And we wanted to tell you about the Artist of the Month. The Artist of the Month is Bread of Stone. It's a wonderful Christian rock group. You gotta support them. They have wonderful material that you can support if you want to help them out. You know when you support them, you're helping them do wonderful things across the country, actually across the globe, to be totally honest with you. So make sure you support Bread of Stone. Go to breadofstone.com. Have them come to your church or your gospel event or whatever you guys are doing. You want Bread of Stone there. These guys are amazing. See you soon.
The coast is clear. There was only shadows here. Face the tide. You know you gotta cast aside everything that's weighing you down.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you continue to send your support. Make sure you continue to get the Coming Soon Jesus shirt. Buy it for your grandma, buy it for your friend. Help us share the gospel. We want to make sure that everyone in every state has the Coming Soon Jesus shirt. Every week, if you have a Bible, you need to have the Coming Soon Jesus shirt. We want every believer to have a shirt. Tune into our radio show on currentfm.com.
currentfm.com, and we are so excited about the Real Life with Duke White show that is going to be airing every week, and we hope that you tune in every week, support us, and be blessed.
Yeah, be blessed.
What you see.
We love you guys. Make sure you check us out. If you want to keep up with us, what's going on constantly, just go to the Coming Soon Jesus t-shirts page on Facebook. See you guys soon. We love you.